Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 580 of the Dead Robot Society, where you are not going to have any clue.
Because we don't either.
Because we didn't either when we were recording this episode.
Yep, it's going to be one of those. We're sorry already.
You know when you're a pantser and you start writing and then suddenly you have no idea what the hell you were talking about? That's this episode.
Pretty much. This is two people who really... Yeah, neither Jared.
It's two people that didn't have enough control to really stay on one topic, and we just kind of wandered wherever we wanted to. Usually we do that a lot. This time, well, we did it even more.
Yeah.
So we're sorry.
Squirrels on crack. Why don't we give the folks an update on what we've been doing so we can try and have like a normal show?
Well, it's not going to happen this week, but maybe it'll happen next week. What I did this week, I just finished doing all my editing for When Luck Runs Out and got it off to the editor, the real editor.
Yay!
So I can start writing on Recruit from Imperial Marines, book 2.
How many books do you think are going to be in that series?
God only knows. A lot.
Okay. That was my question is, I'm sure you have enough material in your brain to go on forever because you do. You always do.
Just looking at the scale and scope of historically from the Empire of Bones universe, where I portrayed the protagonist in the one cutscene that she was part of, and where I started this series at, there's a lot of space to cover. I could totally write a lot of things to fill that space.
I know the feeling.
We've basically seen a scene near the end for this character, and I started her as a 12-year-old girl. There's a lot of events between those two.
You think?
Maybe.
Lot. Maybe?
A lot.
Oh, cool. I have spent basically almost all of last week coding my ass off and was in Lake Travis from Wednesday through Monday. Worked 10 to 12 hours a day and to get stuff done on the robotics project and then come home. So I didn't exactly do any writing while I was gone, but came back this morning and started looking at what's going on with Trident and shipyards as I'm trying to record Trident. And of course, I sat down this morning because I'm treating today as my Sunday since I didn't get a weekend. And I tried to record. And the moment I tried to record, construction, garbage trucks, every fucking lawn company in the goddamn universe descended upon my neighborhood. So it wasn't until like, I don't know, we were supposed to record this show that things calmed down.
Things didn't calm down after we started recording the show.
You're right. Because there were two jackasses in front of mics. Terry's nodding.
Yes, I am.
But as I was told Terry in the pre-show, I kept saying it was like a 28,000 words on shipyards. And it turns out I couldn't figure out why I'm writing so much and I'm never getting anywhere.
The story's just not moving. Something's happening. It's not going anywhere.
I had a folder closed, so it wasn't bothering me, and I wasn't taking it into account for my workout. So shipyards is really at 42,000.
Which is a plus.
This is a good thing. So yeah, I still have probably 30K to write. I've got so far 4 chapters at the end to end the book, but I think I need 3 more. So I'm going to have to spend some more time on that. This ending is probably going to take 15 to 17,000 words, which is going to be the longest goddamn ending I've ever written. But considering it's the longest continuous story I've ever written, that makes sense. But there's so much to wrap up and make sense of that I have to keep track of all the things I want to get across for setting up the next leg of this whenever it happens. Because there will be another leg, trust me. But I'm so excited because I'm getting this goddamn albatross out from around my neck. And we'll have this shooting match done. All you folks that want more derelict and everything else, you'll get your closure. You'll get what you want. I won't be able to publish any of this shit for years. But the bottom line is it'll be done. I'm proud of it. We'll be very proud of it when it's finished. And it's just... it'll be a huge weight off my shoulders, and will make all my podcast listeners happy and the readers happy, even though I can't sell the books. We'll be done. Now I can move on and get the goddamn last thing finished I need to, which is the Black Extinction.
Goodness, when you get all that done, what are you going to do? You won't be a writer anymore. You don't have any more stories to tell. You're done.
Well, let's see. We still have the Mars Rebellion that we have to talk about from Soul and Beyond. That's mentioned in Derelict multiple times. We have the Satellite War, which is spoken of many, many times in Soul and Beyond, and I don't talk about what those things are. We have Callie Moore's experiences before she joined SNR Black. We have stories about SNR Black that take place before Derelict, with some of their missions and encounters with AIs gone nuts. We have I have all this stuff to write about that takes place 50 years after Derelict, when things have calmed down a little bit, but we get to see the changes across all the Soul system. That's not including all the Tony Downs shit I have to write. I have to go get back on track 9 and get that goddamn thing done, because I really want that story to get done, because it opens up a whole nother thing of the Fiends universe, Fiends Garaga universe. And then I'm also thinking about returning to the Crusades for Garaga. So I may finally start on that path. I don't know yet. All this while I've got like 15 novels in progress, or 15 stories in progress. So I'll pick one up and I'll go with it. It'll probably happen while I'm working a Derelict.
I don't think you should sleep, with your eyes closed right now, because I'm pretty sure that Sue Bayman is going to come brain you with a brick.
Probably. Don't you have priorities? Yes, my priority is to write when I have time to write, because I'm working 3 fucking jobs, only one of which is paying right now.
Working 3 jobs and writing 15 novels.
Yeah.
You don't think small, do you, man?
It is what it is. It is what it is. And the book sales suck. You got to hustle. So I'm hustling, but let's just say there are some payments pending, and maybe pending for a while. So I'm kind of like tilting at windmills to a certain degree. At least that's how it feels like sometimes. But I got another contract. I know that they're gonna pay, so I got to work on that too. So I've just got a lot of shit going on, and then of course I have to finish recording Trident, and I have to finish Shipyards, and then I have to record Shipyards. And I want to try and get all that done before the end of this year. It's September going to October tomorrow. Yeah, I'm fucked. Anyway. Oh, Screamer. Poor little Screamer. Yeah, you're missing Kitty Love. If you don't like cats, don't watch our YouTube videos, because holy shit, you will see a lot of them.
Cats.
You almost always see them on Terry's screen.
Well, yeah.
So that's where things are with me at the moment. Apart from going absolutely stark raving bonkers trying to catch up on, I have to study tech every day. I'm trying to listen to a new Peter F. Hamilton book, trying to clean the house, trying to do all the chores that haven't been done in over a week because I was coding like a madman. And my Sunday pretty much sucks, even though it's a Wednesday. My Sunday's a Wednesday. I'm so screwed.
You should totally take another day.
I took yesterday mostly took yesterday off. Mostly.
You should sit out on the patio with your cat and write.
Yeah, my cat doesn't come outside. I should sit on the patio with my dog and write.
No, I meant your other cat.
Oh, the other cat, yes. Cheeto is back on my deck. If you missed the Cheeto saga, he escaped from his owner back in March, ended up under my deck. And it took me 2 months to capture this sumbitch so I could take him back to his owner. Well, last night he got out again. He's back, and he's back on my deck. And you got to keep in mind, his owner lives across the block, all the way down the street. I mean, she's got to be like 25 houses away from me. And yet this cat comes back to my house. He loves me. I can't get away from him. I have that personality where everybody loves me. It's a gift. Actually, it's a curse, because, when you're this loved, it's very hard to be humble. Very difficult to be humble. I do my best, though. I do my best. All right. So, is it time to descend into madness?
if you are looking to have an episode, folks, where there are, I don't know, 17 different trains of thought that are taking place, and you really don't know if you're still in the same episode or if you went to the Twilight Zone, this is the episode for you.
And fair warning, there are probably some cuts in here. Very awkward, very jumpy cuts. And I will do my best, but I can't guarantee this is going to be a smooth ride.
If you're a patron, you may get the opportunity to see Paul go on a rant while beeping himself the entire time.
Only if I have time to put that shit in there. It's easier to cut it. Anyway, that notwithstanding,
it's nothing but
right. Yeah. And then I need to subtitle it with beeps.
Oh, you totally need to subtitle it with something totally innocuous.
Okay, with that in mind, why don't we go ahead and get into this train wreck?
Let's do it.
Let's not.
Having just went through the editing process on this novel, it's amazing how much you can be sloppy when you're writing a first draft, and how that doesn't become clear until you've gone through it a couple of times.
Okay, now what do you mean by sloppy?
Well, obviously the fact that I chopped 15,000 words out of a novel means that I was a little fast and loose putting the stuff in.
Why did those 15,000 words need to get cut? Why?
See, the reason that many of them got cut wasn't because I cut a scene or something. I cut at most 1,000 words out of one scene where there was a piece of it that just didn't need to be. The rest of it was trimming paragraphs or cutting paragraphs that I didn't think added to what I was telling.
Okay, so you weren't wholesale cutting. All right, you're just basically, you're saying that's how many words you threw away when you went through and looked at all the extraneous shit, the shit that didn't belong there or didn't make sense, and just throw it away.
The redundant things, the things that could have been more tightly phrased, things like that.
Or when you say the same thing through 3 paragraphs, just differently.
Yeah, exactly so. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
I found one of those today when I was looking through Trident.
I'm usually not this bad. This last book, it was bad. I apparently just didn't have any filter on myself when I was putting out this draft.
Yeah, but why would you?
I'm a little more focused usually when I put out the first draft. It's not clean by any means, but usually I don't ramble as much as I apparently did in that last.
Do you know why you were rambling?
I don't know.
Did you not know where the end of the story was? Was there some problem in the middle that was distracting you? Was there anything that was a distraction, or was it just word vomit?
It was word vomit. The trimming took place from beginning to end. I can't identify a specific portion of the novel that had more things cut out of it. Part of it was written while walking. Part of it was written while sitting. Then I had a shoulder injury in the middle of all this.
So that's right. Yeah, I think that's part of it. It broke your flow over everything.
I think that it really screwed me up in this book. And it was apparent when I went out to write this morning. I decided I was going to go ahead and write the first chapter of Imperial Marines Recruit by going out and walking. And I did. I wrote 2,500 words.
You spoke.
I narrated. I dictated 2,500 words while out walking, got back and looked at it and said, this is mostly exposition. This is not the first chapter. This is not what I need.
This was Terry warming up.
This was me warming up saying, okay, the story as it is right here. Now let's start talking.
Here is the narrator describing the world, describing what's going on, describing the problems, and utterly boring as shit. Throw that.
So it's, I realized even before I got back home that it was not going to make the cut, but it at least put my mind and refreshed me of where I needed to be and got me in the mental headspace that I needed to be to start writing the real first scene.
Have you ever started a chapter, got like halfway through it and went, what the fuck is this? What am I doing here? Why is this here?
Occasionally, yes.
And then I find myself going through some chapters and chopping off the first half of the chapter or chopping off the last end of the chapter because it just was, like you said, word vomit. It was stuff you thought about doing and then went, no.
The problem with me when I start writing the novel is I put too much information in saying, oh, the reader's going to need to know this. Oh, the reader's going to need to know that. Oh, the reader's going to need to know this. And then I go back through during the editing process and go, they don't need to know this. They don't need to know that, and start chopping things out.
Or they'll figure this out later.
Yeah. And this time it was so much they don't need to know it that the entire first chapter was heaved by the wayside.
Gotcha.
Oh, and I am going to totally, cause at least some small segment of my audience to completely lose their minds by this book. Because I went ahead and decided that besides the main character, there were 3 secondary NPCs, non-player characters, I say at the end of this, that are that were left over.
Just call them red shirts and get it over with.
They're not red shirts, though.
Oh, they secondary characters? Are they fully realized secondary characters?
Fully realized secondary characters.
They're still red shirts. Kill them.
Yeah. I decided to go ahead and make them a triad relationship for this book.
Okay.
So her guardian, her mentor, and the suave merchant are in a relationship. I'm not going to get into it a whole bunch, but they're her 3 guardians, and I'm sure that just having had a very low-end secondary character that was married to a man, I already got the part of the gay agenda noticed way back. So I totally expect I'm going to get some more of that.
You sicko! How dare you have polyamorous gay, straight relations? Oh my God!
Yeah, get over your fucking.
I've already decided that one of the secondary characters, I have her mental image being God. What is the actress' name? Ming Na from various things. Is the name familiar to you? She was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Okay.
She's Asian in origin. Let me see if I've got her name right now, because now the way you're doing that is making me wonder if I've got the name wrong.
Ming Na Wen.
Ming Na Wen, yes. And she's a badass. And I decided that she was my mental
Yeah.
of this character. And she's going to get some crap later on about the relationship. Say, are you a bisexual? Are you a lesbian? She says, I self-identify as a bitch. It's going to be her response.
I like that, actually.
So I'm pretty sure that's going to be in there somewhere. She's a somewhat grizzled Marine non-commissioned officer. She's a badass.
Those people never work out well.
And so she's going to hurt someone. Hurt them very badly, I'm sure. But yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm going to write this book the way I want to, and it's going to offend somebody.
Fuck them.
I'll deal with it.
I'm going to offend all sorts of people with shipyards and Trident, so I don't really give a shit. There's going to be a lot of discussion about certain facets of our society that are fucking broken, and the reason why things are going to happen, and tough shit if people don't like it. But regardless, that's you got to write the goddamn story the way it happened.
It makes sense for this story. Could I make 2 of the 3 in a relationship? Sure, I could. But it's
why not go for full tilt?
It's more interesting to me if I take all of the secondary characters and make them jointly responsible for the raising of this child for the last 6 years.
Yeah.
Because there's a 6-year jump between the 2 books. The 12-year-old is now going to be a young adult. So I've got to cover the time.
Makes sense. This all makes sense.
It's going to be fun. I've already rewritten the actual first scene, and I'm happy with it. It's going to require some more trimming down because it's still not in the shape that I want it in, but it's a much closer. It's actually rough enough to where I could tell that it's going to work with trimming.
I don't know how much I'm going to have to cut out of Trident or Shipyards. I can already tell I've got to cut a little bit of Trident and rewrite a couple of things before I narrate them.
Trimming, I say trimming, modification. Some words will come out, some description will come in.
There are some things I've got to whack, but I found something really interesting. I couldn't figure out why, no matter how much I wrote on Shipyards, it was only at 28,000 words. I couldn't figure it out.
You were writing in a different book?
No. Whenever I did my word count, I forgot to include a folder. So I'm at 42,000 words on Shipyards. I was like, how the fuck am I? How many? I wrote 8,000 words. Where are they? They're right there. Why aren't they in the word count? What the hell's going on here? So I kept being depressed about the fact that the novel just wasn't seeming to go.
This novel's going nowhere. No matter how much I write, it just never seems to get any closer to the end.
It's so bad. You know, and the fact I've already pretty much written the end, that makes things worse. So
it's never going to get there.
I think I've actually got 2 more chapters to write to finish off the end. And that means the wrap up will be somewhere between 10 and 12K, maybe a little bit more, but I think that's forgivable considering it's a 350,000 word journey. Kind of have to spend a little time wrapping up the mess you've made, but I still have to write the goddamn middle of the fucking book.
I hate middles.
I hate middles too. Actually, it's not even middle. It's just putting all the other pieces in place. Like I said last time, I have one character who's very important, and we haven't seen that person in 20,000 words. That's a problem. I haven't figured out how to solve one other issue with 2 other characters that are very important and very popular in the series. And I haven't written their story, how they get out of the fucking mess I put them in. And there's a couple of things, all other things I have to write, which involve non-human life forms having interesting conversations. Those things I have to get done. And then I have to write the massive battle. Not looking forward to that. Not used to writing about space battles. Just not used to that. Not real ones. You know, ones where you actually have life forms coming at you and you're trying to blast them and get away and everything else. And you don't have any of that Star Wars shit. You don't have any of that Star Wars shit, you know, where you can completely defy gravity and, you know, do all this other crap. Or
well, that's a flaw on your part, not mine.
Or do we? What if you were able to use dark matter to essentially maneuver?
That could be interesting. Could be deadly too.
I just have a really cool idea now. Thanks.
Suddenly, Bob discovered that dark matter created 6,000 G's of acceleration.
That's like in Salvation. This is the most interesting form of propulsion I can possibly imagine. You open a portal into a star and let its gravity push you.
Smoking.
How fucked up is that? You're using a star to slingshot you through this portal thing that they've got. It's just like, huh? And then the other idea of dragging a wormhole behind you. That's also kind of a cool idea.
Well, David Weber in one of his books, not the Honor Harrington one, in a book called Path of the Fury, he had their star drive basically created an artificial black hole directly in front of the ship that the ship then fell toward, but because it's being generated, it's moved. So you're continually falling into this until you hit light speed and it creates a wormhole and you go into hyperspace.
Okay.
I mean, it works. I can conceive it. I have no idea if this is, you know, something that would be even theoretically possible.
Physically possible. Yeah, right. Well, I have to rewrite physics, but it'll be okay.
I think they didn't call it hyperspace. They called it supralight.
That sounds like an airplane. That does not sound like a propulsion.
SUPRA, supralight.
Okay.
I'm going off of memory. It's been a while since I've read that book.
Doesn't matter.
Used lots of acronyms though. I was like, I don't know about all
Anacronyms
that.
or acronyms?
Acronyms.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Now I have to go look up or try and think of what an acronym is.
It's a Terryism.
Terry's word of the day.
I'm a writer. I make up things, including
I
words.
really have to start that segment. Just stop the show and you're focus it on your face completely like still, and then say Terry's word of the day, and then let you rip.
Well, you're editing, so you can make it all happen.
Oh fuck! Considering what happened at the beginning of this episode, I might as well go for broke. There's gonna be a lot of.
I don't think the duck noises are going to cut it.
I could just put quacks the entire first segment. Just,
All you have is your visual. If you're going to.
God, that'd be hilarious. Maybe I'll put that at the beginning of the show. Just me with that with beeps. Oh shit. Anyway, what the hell were we talking about?
I was talking about his star drive and how it, was out of the usual ballpark of that type of thing. I hadn't seen anything like that before. So you can make all kinds of weird star drives as long as it has internal consistency and isn't ludicrous. Then if you're going plaid, you're going bad.
How long before one of us uses that in our stories? Ludicrous
Which
speed.
one?
Ludicrous speed.
I may already have. There's no telling.
Yeah, if somebody was going to do it, it would definitely be you because you're just that kind of person.
I would have used it as a joke as opposed to an actual thing, but
here's a question for you. Considering how young the science is, how young the science is of quantum physics, relatively speaking, doesn't it hold that at some point we're going to discover something that's going to turn physics completely on its ear?
That happens every week, doesn't it?
What's possible and what's not possible? I know, but if you start looking at this stuff, it is so fucking murky. It's like at some point, somebody's going to put two and two together and figure out how to really use it.
I read an article about time travel the other day.
Oh, God.
Well, it was talking about, the mathematics involved in something like this. And mathematically, traveling through time is possible because time is a construct that we create. It's not something that the mathematics of our space-time continuum actually hold. And the mathematics they were talking about was how time travel could work because the continuum is self-correcting. If you go back, their example was, if you go back to stop the COVID infection, you would go back to stop the first person, coming to the United States with the COVID infection. Something would happen to where either you would get infected or someone else would get infected, and the timeline would correct itself and the events would still occur. It would heal itself, according to the mathematics. Nothing you did would stop the events that you were trying to stop. If you went back to kill your grandfather, someone else would become your grandfather. Somehow your grandfather would live. Somehow you'd be run over by a truck. Nothing would happen.
Yes, but if you were run over by the truck, would you appear back in your timeline?
Nope, I think you'd be dead.
But that means you have to heal the past all the way through the future? I got a problem with
this. It's going to self-correct without you. Individuals are not part of the timeline, really. It's a weaving of the entire thing. If you kill 1,000 people, kill 1,000 people, you're not really going to change things.
You're just a simulation in my head. You don't even exist. You're just this talking head I talk to occasionally, and then I have delusions of going to lunch with you. And that's about it.
If I could do the whole, talking head, Max Headroom thing, I would right now.
Again, Futurama, you have to fucking watch it. They've always got the heads in the jars. You got to see the Nixon episode. It is absolutely hilarious. Where he runs for president as a head in the jar. Oh, it's so fucked up. Anyway,
I'd vote for him right now. Totally.
Anyway, yeah, because we need more paranoid criminals in the presidency. Thank you.
Step up, buddy.
Yeah, he was at least intelligent. Okay, so once again, more shit I'm going to have to cut, you fucker. But that means that you can do some somewhat outlandish things. If a space-time continuum can heal itself, so to speak, one wonders what reverberations that has in other dimensions.
It's interesting that you mentioned that, because I was just thinking of a series of books that also by David Weber and a co-author, where he was writing about them going back and looting the past and collecting all the various things. And there they say, well, it doesn't matter because the timeline heals itself. You know, after you go back and you do these things and you come back to the future, the events haven't changed. So the timeline has healed itself and it's like you never went at all.
Yes, but doesn't that mean the artifacts are still gone?
Apparently not in their timeline, but they discover that they weren't really time traveling at all. They were going to closely related dimensions and executing like thousands of people and stealing the Library of Alexandria. And, oh yeah, you weren't just, that wasn't just, not doing anything. That was you committing atrocities.
So basically, they lifted up the Library of Alexandria, and instead of all Sanskrit and cuneiform, it's all English.
No, it's still all of that. But they realized that where they thought, oh, it doesn't matter if I shoot this native because that's not really, what's going to happen. If the timeline's going to fix itself. Yes, you really did kill that person.
So basically, they raided the another planet, essentially, another timeline, and just fucked everybody up.
Can you imagine how fucked up that would make somebody's future? Space alien gods with lightning machines come down from the sky and burn your library to the ground. How's that going to screw up your future?
It's going to create more pyramids and ziggurats. Higher ziggurats.
Man.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, thanks for that, buddy. It's like the it'd be like one of the slaves in Babylon or whatever accidentally discovering a blaster that just happened to be dropped by somebody who was in the past, and then suddenly has this weapon they don't understand, but used it a couple of times, and well, it's good to be the king.
It's sort of like in the Star Trek episode where they go back in time and the one guy kills himself with the phaser.
Don't remember that one.
It's where they had the glowing arch where they could jump back into time. They went back to the 30s, but it wasn't the gangster episode.
I don't remember that one. It wasn't a gangster episode, but
it was not the gangster episode.
Okay. How many times did they go back to the 30s?
At least twice, since I remember that.
Too many cheap sets.
This was time travel. The other one was, a society that developed from the 30s. Totally different.
Totally different. One's like all mob. What do they call themselves?
This is where he went back in time. Kirk did, and fell in love with Edith Keeler.
Yeah, I got nothing. I'm obviously not as versed in Star Trek. What do they call it? TOS, the original series. TOS. I'm not up to date on all my TOS. I've probably forgotten more than I remember.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I think the episode was called Doorway to Forever.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe I'll look for it at some point.
But yeah, McCoy lost his phaser because he went nuts and somebody found it and inadvertently killed themselves.
Okay. So it wasn't a red shirt killing themselves. It was one of the indigenous population.
It was one of the indigenes like you were talking about that killed themselves. Hey, I used that word right. Indigene. Hey, I made up a real word.
I'm not even going to try and dissect that sentence. Because you hurt my brain. You broke my brain, Terry. Don't do that shit.
That's something about eye.
Yeah, it's probably the illogic from your last statement.
Probably a cat hair.
Snap back and hit you in the face.
Wow. Rub your eye enough, it turns all red.
Uh-huh. Yeah. You've been smoking that wacky tobacco? Look at those eyes.
Pretty sure it's a cat hair.
Probably. Wacky tobacco, cat hair. All the same results, I guess, for the eyes. I don't know. Do the eyes have it?
Mm.
You don't know because you're not thinking. Because you are quantum entangled with another Terry in another universe who's right now having a lot more fun than you are.
You know, it might be illegal to have more fun than I'm having right now.
Really, you have a very low bar for fun. You have.
I totally want to
bar.
see, you know, my version of me that's the pothead. I totally want to see that guy. Hey, man.
Why are you harshing my mellow, man? We're just kind of like chilling
chill
in
out,
space.
man.
I watched The Color Out of Space. I think I mentioned it last time on Shudder, and I just keep getting hit by Tommy Chong in that movie. It is so goddamn funny because he really is playing himself like even farther out there than he normally seems. And it works so well. Just got to listen, man. You can hear them talking through the floor. Look, man, don't you hear them?
Having you say that reminds me of a movie that my wife watched part of that there's another half hour to an hour that I'll never get my life back of sitting in the room watching it. Jason Mewes, who was the Jay portion of Jay and Silent Bob, was in a vampire movie.
A vampire movie?
A vampire movie.
I don't know what that might be.
He was an EMT in this vampire movie. And so, of course, there's a hot chick that he rescues that won't go to the hospital that's actually a vampire and kills his ex-girlfriend in his apartment. And the things go from there. And I'm like going, why are you still watching this? She's over there going, oh, this is a terrible movie. Then why are you still watching this? Oh, it's just so awful. I just want to see how far I can get into it. It's still really terrible. Oh, yeah.
Why
okay.
would you do that to yourself?
I'm like, do you watch these things all the time? Yes. What's wrong with you right there?
Ah, God. There are times where I'll go and I'll look up a bad movie, what I think will be a bad movie, and I either get really, really, really shocked that it's not as bad as they think, as everybody said it was, or I'm like, holy crap, did this jump the Ed Wood train? I did not know this, but somebody actually remade the Plan 9 from Outer Space. Somebody
Really?
actually remade it. Yeah, I saw it on. I saw the title on Amazon the other day and looked at the summary, and sure enough, yeah, Plan 9. It is a remake.
This is a 2008 movie called Bitten.
Bitten. Never heard of it. Never heard of it.
It actually has, to my total shock, it says that 88% of people like this movie for Google users. It was a terrible movie.
They're all Kevin Smith fans. That's why.
It's got to be something like that. I don't know, man. I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
I liked his partner. His EMT partner was great. His EMT partner was the shaved-headed ist. Every ist on the face of the planet. You know, the kind of guy that you're like, yeah, I'm a terrible grumpy partner. That's the guy. It was the terrible grumpy partner. You shouldn't date women because that's only going to break your heart. I suggest you save up your pay and use a couple of extra 20s to go out and find some hookers. That'll do you much better. Trust me, I was married 3 times. I know. That's the kind of guy that his partner was.
Oh, good. Right out of the 70s.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
Off in 70s cop show. Jesus Christ.
As an example, they said they were rescuing some guy that was having some type of drug attack. And he's like, did we get this guy last week? Yeah, it's the 3rd time this month. Takes out the syringe and jabs it in his chest. And, welcome back, sweetheart. You're going to the hospital. So yeah, it was that kind of movie. So if you went into it with the right frame of mind, I'm sure it was entertaining.
Or you were drunk enough. Well, okay,
or
it goes back to the right frame of mind.
Yeah.
Or you were smoking some indoors finest, yeah. Did I send you the Jedi Bong Hits video?
I don't know that you did.
I gotta send that to you. Maybe I'll put it in the description. I hate Star Wars, so it made it even funnier. Oh my God. Cat wants in, cat wants out. Which one is it this time?
This is Misty.
Oh, hello, Misty. Pretty black cat. They're trouble. Oh, you podcast listeners, if only you could see this. So tell me, Terry, how's the cat's ass smell?
Like catnip.
Did you enjoy the tail going down your mouth? God damn.
Once you own a cat long enough or owned by cats long enough, you get where you can ignore it.
Yeah, right. I'm always a centerpiece. Anyway. I have no idea where we're going now because you've completely derailed the train.
Yeah,
Not like
we've
this would
went
shock
through a couple
anyone.
of iterations of, wandering away from our immediate concept of what we were talking about. I think we were talking about space drives, or maybe it was time travel. I'm not really sure anymore.
Or quantum, period.
Quantum stuff. You were talking about quantum stuff.
Yes, I was talking about quantum stuff.
Quantum cat butts.
Quantum catnip?
Cat butts.
What would a quantum trap be?
I haven't the slightest idea.
I know
something
somebody's
that takes all of the various possibilities and distills them down to one, and that's it. The only one in the universe.
Or you're connected? Permanently connected?
Can you imagine how insane you would be if suddenly you could hear all of your various selves?
I deal with that every day.
Maybe that's what multiple personality disorder is two or more quantum personalities linked together.
Ooh, that's an interesting concept. That's a very interesting concept. Huh. Interesting.
It's truly a quantum personality disorder.
I don't know. Can you call it a disorder?
I'm sure all the people around you could.
This guy's fucking crazy. No, man, he's just in tune with the universe. No, he's fucking crazy.
As long as I end up looking like Doc Brown, I can live with it.
Oh, Lord. You don't have the face for that. You gotta,
Scott!
You gotta, like, kind of look a lot more grizzled and haggard than you do right now.
Yeah, pretty much.
You gain about another 10 years and grow your hair out and, get it all funky. I'm more likely to do that than you are, but my hair doesn't frizz.
Yet.
You see this middle finger? Chomp on it. What an asshole. So, Terry, ever seen a Gladiator movie?
I've seen a few.
So, Terry, do you like it when Champ jumps up on your leg and starts humping it?
In this case, it was Houdini who jumped on my shoulder in the bathroom.
Terry, you ever spent time in a Turkish prison? Holy shit.
He was just being friendly. He jumped. I didn't see him. He was jumping from long range and used my arm as a climbing bit to get onto me. So, yeah, it happens. Cats.
Ugh. Yeah, that looks bad.
It stung it a bit, but after a while, with lots of cats, you get used to it.
Mm-hmm. So you say. So says the guy who's still got cat mark scars from all over the place. Yeah, I know how that works. We have wandered all over the place and gotten nowhere.
Sounds like us, but we can get back to...
This is worse than usual.
this one is worse than usual. This one is... I'm not even sure this is an episode. This may just be... This may just be his pipe dream.
This may just be the patrons going, what the fuck? What's going on that day?
This one may not go live. This may just be patrons only.
All over the fucking place.
You're supposed to keep me on track, man. What's wrong with you?
It's not possible to keep you on track. You're just rolling over shit right now. You're the proverbial bull in the China shop. I don't give a shit if Mythbusters busted it. I said proverbial.
Apocryphal.
No. It is apocryphal, but you don't say the apocryphal bull. It's proverbial because it's
But why wouldn't you say it's an apocryphal bull in a china shop?
Because it's a proverb. It's proverbial. Oh, are we gonna argue semantics now? Is that what this show is going to be? You and I arguing semantics? It's getting more boring than ever. And today, that's saying something.
I don't know if this is a boring conversation because, well, it's just us talking. It seems pretty exciting to me.
Lunatics. Let's see. We started out with word vomit, and now we're in the mental dribble phase.
I think you're edging way too close to some sexual joke here.
I actually, my brain was as far away from that as it ever is. And wow, thanks for putting that in my skull. What is sex going to be like in the future?
Well, according to Sandra Bullock and Sylvester Stallone, it's going to be some weird hot tub thing where you like have these, weird holographic feelings for one another.
Okay. Can we leave Demolition Man out for a moment and talk about, like, I can't believe I'm going to say this. I don't know, reality or some sort of reality as opposed to
I can't envision sex changing a whole lot. I mean, there's only so many combinations you can go to. But having said that, I don't know why you're chortling here.
Because there was some kind of thing about using glory holes in Canada to stop COVID. And I just had this picture of a penis going through a portal.
Dimensional
penis, nothing else.
The disembodied dick.
See, this is what you did.
I didn't do this. I was actually having a realistic conversation. This one is all you, pal.
No, it's absolutely not.
As I was saying before you took us off the rails here, one of the things that might happen going forward is if you can have designer bodies, you can change your body to match what you want it to be on your own choice. If you can do that, then you can, apparently there's a video game now where you don't actually choose a sex for your character. You can choose to mix and match parts from whatever you would like to have on your character.
Okay.
So the way I envision this is you can choose to have breasts, you can choose to have a penis, you can choose to have whatever you like, all of what you'd like. So let's say in the future, you could have like sleeves like they have in the movie. You can go ahead and choose to have a body created for you that matches whatever you would like it to be. That's the only way you could really get sexuality or sex in the future to be really different than what it is today.
Unless you include something like hermaphroditic cycling.
Explain cycling.
Basically, every so many years, you switch not only genders, but physically switch.
Okay.
As in
that
your
would
body.
Have to be a genetic change.
Yes, massive genetic change. But then you would live so long as a female and so long as a male. And we're not talking about gender.
All just become androgynous.
That kind of, I can see that happening.
Man buns in the future.
Who decided that was a good idea?
That's where you look at Spaceballs and you go, why didn't somebody tell me my ass was this big?
Exactly. So if you go with designer bodies, I think I can't remember which. It was in Gibson and Sterling, I'm sure, but I know it was in Gibson. Certain people would augment themselves to look like animals or have animal features, like not just teeth filed, but actual canines actually grafted on, or dog DNA or something like that spliced in. to
So
change
basically,
their.
since we're talking about sex, you just brought bestiality into the mix.
Is it bestiality if it's another sentient?
See, that's an interesting question because you've got all of these. Let's look at Twilight, where you've got the competition
Yeah.
between the vampire
Yeah.
and the werewolf.
Yeah.
This could get awkward. This could get really awkward
When you're
because
boning
you're
a
looking
werewolf.
at necrophilia or bestiality. So this could get really awkward.
Can't we have both? My God. I had never even thought of that. Let's see. Do I fuck the dog or the corpse? Which one do I pick? The agony of choice.
You've got all these werewolf romance stuff going on. You're like, hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
If there are people today, no doubt, I have absolutely no doubt, that would sign up for genetic alteration like today.
I have no doubt either.
And it would be some weird shit. I mean, when the technology gets good enough, you can imagine human beings. God, I really need to stop talking about this. Too many fucking book ideas. Humans being engineered, for instance, to live underneath the ocean.
Sure.
Not necessarily our ocean, but in an ocean. And there might be a compelling reason why they would do that. Maybe it's for safety, to get away from some other threat that might see them if they were on shore. Maybe they're trapped there. Who the hell knows? Maybe that was just kind of a last-ditch effort. But you're talking about modifying humans in order to make them into something they're not supposed to be. And it's such an interesting concept because in my mind, once you start doing that, you start changing what it means to be human.
Yeah.
And at some point, those will diverge. The mindsets will ultimately diverge because, for instance, if you had these folks that were cycling between female and male physicality every so many years, they would have a completely different perspective from somebody who is chooses to live with one set, so to speak, doesn't choose to have that kind of augmentation. They would have a completely different perspective. And the question is, when that perspective widens enough to form the gulf, when does it become, well, we don't even recognize you as human anymore? And that's coming from both sides, right?
Replicative drift.
Yeah, I guess that might be a good term for it. Maybe evolutionary.
Well, I'm going
drift?
back to the Bobaverse.
The Bobaverse. Okay, all right, that makes more sense. But still, it's the same kind of concept. It is when you're put in a different situation, like for instance, Jesus, Paul. The freaking show is always on and it's always good. The sci-fi thing, the fucking read the goddamn books. I can't believe I'm having problems with this. Anyway, you had the Belters who were physically different. Expanse. You had the Belters who are physically different than the Martians, who are physically different from the humans. The humans are the only ones that live where they can walk outside without a suit.
There is, are you familiar with the Miles Vorksigan novels by Lois McMaster Bujold?
Absolutely not.
Okay. Well, it's space opera, military science fiction type stuff. And in her universe, she has a group of sort of related to human genetic created people called quaddies. They are made to work in zero gravity. They don't have legs, they have 4 arms.
Okay.
But otherwise, they are the same as humans, just the legs have been replaced with arms.
Wouldn't it make more sense just to keep the legs and turn the feet into opposable thumbs?
Apparently, they wanted to have the usefulness of the bendy elbows in the right places.
That's fucking creepy. Just trying to envision that is creepy.
But she had that in there, and there is one of the humans that is in a relationship with a quaddie in there. And it makes you go, Exactly. How does that
How does
work?
that work? What kind of interesting positions can they maintain?
She is a ballet dancer, which takes it to a whole new level. A zero-G ballet dancer.
Oh, dear God. Oh, yikes. I'm still not seeing the whole zero-G sex thing. I'm just not seeing it, not getting it.
Well, with four hands and arms,
Okay,
you
that
could
might be
actually
possible.
Make it work. You could make it work with that.
Okay, I'll rephrase what I said. I'm not sure two humans today can make that work
Velcro.
without augmentation, without any accoutrements.
We should ask the astronauts because something's happened.
Supposedly the Russians.
Nobody will ever admit to it, but somebody's had sex in space already.
Oh, yeah. It's the ultimate Mile High Club, only it's how many miles? 100 miles? 200 miles? The 200-mile
Earth
club?
orbit is between 100 and 200, depending on where you are.
Let's just say 150 mile high club.
Mm-hmm.
Do they get pins?
Not that they're going to admit. And since they're usually married to other people that aren't in orbit, there you are.
Honey, I had a special mission and I had to, suck face with one of my crewmates. I hope you're not mad.
You were talking about the Expanse, and then I went with the Quaddies, and
yeah,
we were talking about, one of those exercise bands where you got the little stretchy bands. You could wrap that around people and make this work. Velcro in the middle, stretchy bands on the outside. This could probably happen.
Oh boy, I just don't know. Point is that what I was trying to get at was that the physical differences and the social differences eventually, I think, make almost different species.
If you go ahead and you have these where you've got these different species of humans, can you imagine the condemnation when there's sex between those different flavors of humanity?
Oh, that's a totally different animal.
Oh my gosh, the condemnation. How could you?
From the Expanse, it's pretty obvious that the Earthlings don't really think humans should be shacking up with belters. That much is pretty goddamn clear from his mom's reaction to it.
Oh, honey, why can't you find a nice Earth girl or at least a Martian one?
I can just hear that. Yeah, that brings up an interesting question about that too. And what happens if they procreate? What does that create? And what kind of problems does that cause with, all sorts of other things?
It really depends on how much the genetics have been modified. If you tinker enough, then they're not going to be infertile. But if you don't tinker enough, who knows what you're really going to get?
Yeah, that's kind of another question. And then you'd have to have modeling or some kind of way to tell exactly what would happen there. It'd have to be some kind of computer model of how the genetics are going to interact. And well, you don't want to do that. You're going to end up birthing a ball, kind of things like that.
Too late. Here comes
Too late. Here it comes. You're ready to bounce it.
Like extreme dodgeball. That's what you've got coming.
Well, the umbilical cord's attached to it, and it's just a big cat toy.
You're not cut out to be a parent. I'm just gonna lay this out right now. You are not cut out to be a parent.
Oh shit! The universe knew that. What are you talking about? It took care of it. Not a problem. It's one of those things where, if you look at even the planet, our planet that we walk on right now, and you pluck somebody out of rural anywhere, U.S. or rural Europe or whatever, and grab somebody from rural Saudi Arabia or India or someplace like that, or China or whatnot, and you put them together, and even if they could speak the same language, I'm pretty sure the culture shock would be such that I'm not really sure how the communication would go, even if they could communicate.
Story prompt. You take a redneck from Arkansas and a rural Indian and put them on an alien planet where they are forced to work together.
without knowing how to communicate. No
ability
communication
whatsoever.
Wasn't there a TNG episode about this?
Darmak and Jalad at Tanagra.
Yeah, at Tanagra when the walls fell or some shit like that.
So who knows? That's memes before memes were cool.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
Somebody pointed that out on Facebook. I saw that and I was like, yeah, that actually was kind of memes before memes were cool.
It's very memey. Very memey.
Mimi, very Mimi.
Did you see the meme where they took that and made it into car talk?
No.
Some guy trying to explain his car problem in that language and them trying to, okay, I think I can do this. Trying to give him an answer.
Did that really happen?
There's a meme.
Oh, there's a meme, of course.
I'm saying there's a meme. I'm pretty sure it didn't happen in real life. But
how cool
somebody
would it
trying
have
to
been
explain their car problem with meme stuff.
How cool would it have been if that had actually happened? Come on, that'd be awesome. That'd be fucking awesome. Oh man. See what you've done. You completely just destroyed everything.
Yeah, that's me. This show should be called The Destruction of Terry.
The show should be called, oh my God, what the hell were you guys smoking? I'll give you the brand later. When you think about humans from 3 different planets trying to get together or coming together and having completely different societies, having completely different everything, things aren't necessarily going to go smoothly. How
long will it take before you commit, a grave social faux pas?
Oh shit, 5 minutes if you're not well versed. And how long before they do? It is one of those situations where it is completely different cultures. America, you could do something that doesn't bother anybody. You do that over in the Middle East or even Europe or wherever.
Oh my God, where are your pants?
Yeah, they're gonna be pretty fucking annoyed with you, Or in Singapore, you chew gum, you get caned. If you don't know that, that's kind of a problem. It's a big culture shock when you're coming to laws, and if you talk about an alien world, even if that world is populated by humans, it is still an alien world. After a time,
they had that TNG episode where walking on the grass was a capital offense. Capital
offense, right? Yeah, stuff like that. It means that the culture is completely different, and at some point, when it gets so divergent, it just makes me wonder. Where do you draw the line at are these people human anymore? Are there any humans left? That's another interesting concept. Are there any humans left?
That's the whole post-human sort of thing.
Yeah, and it is. And whether it's via technology or genetic engineering or what have you, sex with alien species, that produce
tentacles. That's what's important.
Yeah, tentacles with 8 eyes. The tentacles have eyes. Yeah, that works. Whoa! I need to write that story. The tentacles have eyes.
Tentacles can see what you've been doing.
Oh yeah. Snaking up the toilet where you're taking a crap. Oh.
There's a social faux pas for you.
Coming out of the drain.
Going there if I were you.
Coming out of the drain while you're taking a shower. Give myself the shivers. Anyway, you always just sit on the toilet and worry about stuff coming up the toilet to grab you and slide you in here. Yeah.
The turds have eyes.
Yeah. You ever been in an outhouse? You should be afraid. You don't want to know what's down there.
Have you ever used an outhouse?
I have.
Let me tell you, during the summer,
it's a thoroughly horrible experience because wasps, bees, other things tickling.
Even just the smell is quite the experience.
That's bad too. But it's when the bugs are down there and they decide to come up and see what's fresh, and then they're tickling your. Anyway, enough said. I've said too much.
Yes, you have.
Oh God. Yeah. The old trope is to take somebody from the far future and drop them in the past with no tools, no anything. And then, of course, the flip side is you take a guy from 1950s, U.S. and shove him in, or actually, 1920s? Shove him in carbonite or a frozen cave, and then he wakes up in the 25th century and becomes a badass.
Basically, I think you should, take the guy from rural wherever and stick him in the far future and make him responsible for fixing the spaceship. Try it now.
I'm pretty sure that Keith Hughes already wrote that story, and it featured possums and me in it. And fuck that shit.
Speaking of possums and you, have you read the story that I wrote that had you and possums?
God damn it. No, I have not.
I sent it to you.
I know.
This is not my problem.
I know. I downloaded it. I need to read it. I'll try and read that tonight. You're
going to be horrified.
Of course
because
I'm going to be horrified.
It has an outhouse.
Oh my God. This just keeps getting worse.
And you're killed in the outhouse.
Well, I lived as I died. Shitting, that's just the way it works.
You keep those words in mind.
Okay.
When you're reading your own death scene,
evidently
you keep those words in mind.
Evidently, I did not kill you hard enough in the black. I should have done it a little better.
I assure you, my killing you was much more entertaining than the one that I died in the black.
All right, that's it. I got to find another place for you to be. I want to hear
I want to hear when you're done reading it what your thoughts are. I definitely want to know.
Probably going to be a picture of me holding two middle fingers up to the camera. Probably.
At least you weren't eaten alive by possums.
Oh God. I hate those fucking things. Oh, they're so creepy.
Well, when you read the story, you, Keith Hughes, and J.R. Handley are all three killed. I think you got off easiest, honestly.
Could you at least have put me in better company? I mean, come on.
No, I totally put those three together because I thought it would be an amazingly bad set of company for you to die in.
I hate you, Terry. I hate you so much.
But when you look at those three deaths, you will realize you got off easy.
I will realize just how much Terry Mixon really loathes me. Yeah. There's a lot of loathe in this relationship. A lot of loathe. Yeah. You can bouncing on your butt. I see it. Acting all proud of yourself.
I am. That was those were some great death scenes. I could sit here and bounce all day thinking about how amazing they were.
Okay, I'm getting a little concerned that you're getting off on the death scenes thing. I just, I don't know.
You should always be happy when you're having to kill your friends.
Wow. Maybe that's the bumper for the show. Take that shit out of context.
I think that's the title for this show, Out of Context.
Yeah. When I go to edit this, it's going to be bad. It's going to be
I'm not sure you can save this one. I honestly don't think that this is salvageable.
If I cut the first 40 minutes and then the 5 minutes of me being offline, and we'll have like a 20-minute show. But it'll at least be a show. We haven't put one out in a while.
As soon as we start going off topic in this show, you should throw up a screen going, here's where we veered off topic.
No, what I want is to take a picture of us with like googly eyes. It says technical difficulties. Please stand by. And it's like we're walking on our tongues or something like that.
That would be amazing.
I have all these ideas, but no talent to pull them off.
So any of our users that can do that type of
listeners, viewers,
whatever.
Users.
I'm a computer guy. It's all users. Any of our users that can
software.
do this.
We are not mechanical. They do not take us into the. Never mind. I am not a sex toy.
That is yet to be determined.
Hey. Anyway,
you're in the sex toy world. You're like the Klingon dildo.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
With spikes.
God. Okay, I could see crocodile ribs, but Oh, thank you, Monty Python. It's in the meaning of life. Yeah, you've derailed us once again.
At this point, I don't even care anymore. You know,
It's obvious. It's obvious you just throw in the fucking towel.
it's almost become a challenge at this point.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Nobody's gonna watch this shit or listen to it.
I tell you, this needs to be a patron only episode because we totally didn't. This is one we did not nail.
Wait a minute, there was some good stuff for like 5 minutes at a time. I just need to put those together and wait on the 15 minutes.
Good luck weaving that together. Okay, this show, we're going to go ahead and we're going to just trim out everything that's not the show. In between it goes, and then we start talking about something that makes it, okay, we're talking about something totally unrelated.
Well, what I can do is
this is nothing but a show full of snippets.
Fade out, fade in, right? And fade out, fade in, stuff with volume and everything else, and occasionally technical difficulties. Please stand by.
That would be an amazing episode.
Oh yeah, it's one of my favorite gags they do on the Simpsons is when Kent Brockman, the local TV whatever news guy, completely loses his shit, and then they go to the technical difficulties screen, and it's got like a dude like completely drunk on camera with the camera guy completely drunk and shit just breaking everywhere. Yeah, we need one of those. Maybe I should take some of those Patreon money, talk to Scott Pond, and get him to create some graphics for us.
You know,
that would be
maybe
fucking
you should.
hilarious. I could do that. Maybe it will. I think we should cut it off here before we do any more damage to ourselves.
Little girl agrees.
And then we can do the intro for this shit show.
Little girl, do the intro.
Oh, no. Okay.
She's judging you.
Of course she's judging me. I have no idea what this episode is going to look like when it's done, what it's going to sound like, how much content there will be. But
I don't even know what the title is going to be at this point.
If you have a comment about this train wreck, you can send us an email at show@deadrobotsociety.com. You can tweet me at Paul_E_Cooley. You can find us on Facebook, the listeners of the Dead Robot Society Facebook group, where Terry is the moderator and I occasionally flip in and out because I fucking hate Facebook. You can
find you on Twitter, where you're the only one on Twitter.
You can find us at youtube.com/DRS podcast if you want to see our ugly mugs. And why wouldn't you? Because there's always crazy shit going on behind the scenes in Terry's house. There will be so many cats. Oh my God. We have to thank our wonderful host, Podhoster, who makes all 14 bazillion episodes of the Dead Robot Society available for your ear holes. If you want to support us, you can find us at patreon.com/DRS podcast, where for as little as $1 a month, you get access to exclusive content, like maybe the mostly unedited version of this show, if there is such a thing, of this episode.
Me, if you're hearing this episode, the Patreon episode has twice as much.
Twice as much stupid for half the effort. I have no idea what part of the outro I've forgotten, but I'm sure there's something, because that's the way this fucking show has gone. So with that, we'll try again next week. Hey, we're sorry.
This is what happens when we don't talk for a week.